Welcome to the Agency Insider Show. I am your host, Navneet, and today we have a very special guest joining us. He is a renowned brand positioning expert, the founder of Master Positioning, and has been called the real life madman. Please welcome Marty Marion.
Thank you, Navneet. It's very good to be here.
Marty, it's great to have you on the show. Before we dive into our main topics, could you give our listeners a brief overview of your background and how you became to known as the real life madman?
So, if you are familiar at all with the television series Mad Men, which was very popular for many years, it was based around one of the giant New York, Madison Avenue big agencies, one of the biggest in the world. And I was a principal of that agency that the show was based around. So people started calling me a madman. And I like it. I am mad.
Right. And a bit about your background as well.
So I started out as international marketing director, responsible for creating strategy for all of the agency's big A-tier clients on a worldwide basis. And our clients were the biggest in the world. If you didn't have a $5 million starting budget, we wouldn't even talk to you.
Wow.
And I was there for many years and was responsible for creating the go-to-market strategies, the competitive advantage strategies for many household name brands in e-commerce, in packaged goods, in financial services, healthcare. I wound up really spending more time in the healthcare sector because at that time, the insurance rules and the reimbursement rules for health products and healthcare in the US were changing rapidly. And the agency that I was at didn't have a dedicated healthcare division. So we created one, and I basically took it over and built it into about the third largest medical, pharmaceutical, and healthcare ad agency in the world.
Wow.
And then I got headhunted away to another agency on Madison Avenue, where I ran international marketing and strategic planning and client acquisition and business development for the agency worldwide. I spent a lot of time working with gigantic enterprise level clients, billion-dollar companies, household name brands and products. And when you are working with clients that have those kinds of budgets, you can do almost anything you want to do. And as you well know, in any field of marketing or advertising or agency, the more information you have, the better the results you're going to get for your clients, for your ads, for your creatives. And so we did a lot of research, a tremendous amount of research. And we studied the following questions. Were there any factors that the leading brands in every single category all did the same? Why were they the leaders? Why wasn't one of their competitors a leader or the number one player in the category? We found some very interesting things. Number one, we found that every company, every brand, every product that was the number one in its category, they broke the rules of the category. Meaning, every category has a set of, this is the way it's done. This is what we talk about. This is how we position our product. And the leaders changed the rules, which is very interesting. Because when you play by somebody else's rules, you never really have an advantage.
Right.
When you set your own rules, then everybody else has to play against your rules. So you have the advantage. And your competitors wind up having to spend a lot of time and a lot of resources trying to catch up to you or overtake you instead of focusing on growing their own business. So it's really a double win. And after working for many years at that level, I realized that there was a tremendous opportunity to take that kind of insider information that the big agencies used strategically to create their ads and their messages for their clients and apply that for smaller, medium businesses and smaller agencies. And I kind of like the idea of helping startups and small early stage companies and agencies understand what it takes to get an advantage. So I've been doing that for the last, I would say, 20 years. Now, I still work with enterprise clients. I still like that. But I really enjoy working with smaller agencies and
Okay.
medium sized agencies a lot more because the rewards that they get are rewarding to me.
Okay. So, right. Now, of course, you've been in the marketing industry for decades. How has the landscape changed since your days on Madison Avenue?
I think there are several big changes that have happened that put us in a completely different world than we've ever been in before.
Mhm.
I started before the internet was a thing.
Right.
And so the primary channels for advertising at the big agency level was always television, print, radio. And what happened was this internet thing came along, and some agencies at the big level embraced it, and some didn't. And the agencies that embraced it, as I said before, when you know these kind of insider tricks of how you win, the agencies that embraced the internet early on, they set the rules of how you market on the internet, right? How you advertise on the internet. And the world of digital exploded at an exponential rate.
Right.
And when that happened, several changes kind of came out of the sky that impact agencies. The first one is that if you look today at agencies across the net, almost in any category, you could be an SEO agency, you could be an ad agency, PPC, you could specialize in social media, you could do all of them or many of them. They're all saying the same thing. We're the best. We do this. We'll 10x your revenues and so on. Everybody says the same thing. And when you're on the client side and you're looking for an agency, you need to kind of cut through the noise. All these agencies are promising me the world. They're all saying the same thing. They're all offering me incredible revenue growth and more sales and more clients and more this and more that. And you know what? I tell this to my clients. Everybody in the whole world thinks that their newborn baby is the most beautiful baby that has ever been born in the whole history of babies, right?
Right.
And it's great. Babies are cute. They're, are fun, but not everyone is the most beautiful or
Right.
the cutest, right? So if you wind up saying the same thing as your competitors are saying, even if you're not using the exact same words, if the implication is the same, if the way your targets hear you is the same, if the way they interpret what you're offering sounds the same.
Mhm.
You don't have an advantage. And so I reach back and I look at how we did these things in the big agencies, in the Madison Avenue agencies. Our
Right.
clients, let's say, who sold a brand of automobile, they weren't the only automobile in the market, right? And every automobile promised the same thing: more miles per gallon, quieter ride, more comfortable, safer, right? Everybody's saying the same thing, or essentially the same thing. And the real change that has happened, Navneet, in the years since pre-internet to early internet to today is that clients have become more sophisticated and they are bombarded with more offers and more messages than ever before. And so when you have one or two choices that kind of jump out at you, it's relatively easy to make a decision. When you've got 20, 30, 50, 100 choices in front of you, and they're all scrambling for your business as a client,
Mhm.
the choice becomes a little harder, a
Right.
little complicated. And so, what I tell the agencies that I consult to, small agencies, medium agencies, specialist agencies, right? If one channel agencies, and also omni channel agencies, what I tell them is two things. Number one, when you are trying to scale your agency, it's all about bringing in new clients.
Right.
But when you take a step back and you say, what is this opportunity for me? How do I get a new client? And you realize that a client prospect for your agency is likely using some other agency today. There are very, very few entirely brand new entrants into any market, right? How many new car companies come along a year? One, two? They're very, very few. And if you're an agency that depends on clients who are looking for SEO services or looking for, Facebook advertising services or media, whatever it is that you do, there are very, very few brand new clients. And what that means is that your targets, the clients you want to come to you, are already bound and working with some other agency.
Right.
So you've got to take them away to get your market share. Your market share isn't just, hang out your shingle and spend some money on advertising for yourself and then people are going to come to you. It's not a matter of looking like the best. And I hate that word. It's the most dangerous word in all of agency marketing and all of marketing. But if you realize that the majority of prospects that you want are already working with someone else, you need to understand what it takes to bring them away. Right? If
Right.
they're happy working with whoever they're working with today, why would they leave? If I absolutely love my favorite brand of toothpaste, and when I'm out of it, I buy more,
Right.
why would I change brands? I like it. I don't get cavities. It keeps my mouth fresh and so on and so forth, right? People have favorites. Well, clients have what we call incumbents. I'm using agency ABC and you are agency XYZ. You want me as a client, but I already have an agency. Why would I switch? And
Right.
it turns out that there are only two reasons why any client would switch. One is for some reason they doubt that they're getting what they think they should be getting from their agency. They doubt that their agency is really doing the best job possible for them. They doubt that whoever's been assigned as their account manager really understands their business and isn't just doing the same thing that they do for every other client, right? Doubt. And if you analyze it one level deeper, you realize that doubt is nothing more than a question mark. And if I put a question mark in your mind, let's say I'm an agency, you're a prospect client, but you're working with another agency and you're happy. You don't have a reason today to think about leaving them or finding another agency, right?
Right.
If I can put a question mark in your mind that causes you to think, oh, maybe I'm not getting the results I should be getting, or maybe I'm not getting the kind of results that others in my category are getting. Maybe that's why I'm not growing as fast as I want to grow, right? And nobody's ever happy with their growth or their scaling. Everybody wants more. So if I can put a doubt in your mind as a client, a prospect, we as human beings are hardwired to answer questions. Because if we go all the way back in time to our caveman ancestors, right? You heard a noise. It was a question mark. What is that noise? Where is it coming from? And if you didn't answer that question fairly quickly, maybe it was dinner for you. Maybe you could, slay the beast and have some dinner. Or maybe you were dinner.
That's right.
So if you didn't answer the question, there was a big risk. And we are still hardwired to answer these questions. I think everybody that's going to listen to this knows that we have questions all day long. But if we go to bed at night without answering important questions in our mind, we don't sleep well, right? We wake up, we're puzzled. What's the answer? I've got to find it. Everybody needs answers to questions. But now we get to the next level. Let's suppose that I, as an agency, am successful in putting a question mark of doubt in your mind as a prospect, right? As a potential client.
Right.
There are two answers to that question. No, I am not getting what I think I should be getting. Therefore, maybe I should look elsewhere. Or maybe I come to the decision I am getting what I think I should be getting. I'm okay. I'm happy with it. I'm making my money. I'm bringing in revenue. No, there's no need to change. So if I'm an agency in competition with others, if I cause doubt to happen in the mind of my targets, it's a little risky because maybe they come to the decision they don't need to change. And all I've done is hurt myself, right? I've helped the prospects that I want to take away become more bound to the agency they're working with now. So I'm going to lose them. So there's another way. And the second way is to create a feeling of dissatisfaction. Because if you're dissatisfied, that means you've already come to a conclusion that you're not happy, that you're not getting something that you think you should be getting, that you're not where you should be after all this time with the other ones, right? And dissatisfaction is always a cause, a trigger, if you will, for a client to start to separate from whatever agency or consultant they might be working with today. Because I'm dissatisfied. So you, as an agency looking for new clients, you want to try to create a sense of dissatisfaction in the minds of your targets. And this is one of the biggest mistakes agencies make. Their message to the world out there is all about scaling, and I will 10x your revenue and 50x your client acquisition, and I'll fix this and I'll get you on page one of Google, and you're going to get more clicks on your Facebook or Google ads than ever before. Whatever it is that they're promising is all about you being able to achieve a greater level of success somehow. But it's not enough, because if I'm not unhappy with who I'm using today or what I'm doing today, maybe I have an in-house department that's doing the work for me. Maybe I'm doing the work myself. If I'm not unhappy with the results, if I'm not dissatisfied, actually even upset, angry, disappointed, why would I change?
Right.
So, I'm going to use a couple of examples, right? I'll use some TV ads because they're obviously the most widely seen.
Right.
For many years, there was a credit card company, Capital One.
Yes.
And they had, I think, Samuel Jackson as a spokesperson, very familiar. And he would come on the ad and he would say, "What's in your wallet?" Question mark, right? That's a question. What's in my wallet? Is it really the best credit card I could have? Does it give me the best rewards, cash back, credit limit, whatever it is? So it causes me to doubt. That's the first potential mover. But I might come to realize, what's in my wallet? I have an American Express Platinum card in my wallet. So I'm fine. I'm okay. I don't need a Capital One card. So it's a little risky. But then there are campaigns that work on dissatisfaction. Several years ago at the Super Bowl, Bud Light beer produced a dissatisfaction campaign. 4 words. 4 words disrupted a billion-dollar category. So their TV came on the Super Bowl, right? One of the most watched events in the world.
Right.
And they said, Bud Light brewed without corn syrup. Period. That was the entire campaign. Brewed without corn syrup. Well, that's kind of good because everybody knows corn syrup isn't very healthy for you.
Right.
So it's in favor of Bud Light. They're reasonably healthy for some reason, right? But the real home run was that if Bud Light is the beer that is brewed without corn syrup,
what are other brewed with? Right.
Every other beer has corn syrup, right? So people watching the Super Bowl drinking beer, they would grab their bottle or can of beer and they would say, "Oh my God, my beer has corn syrup in it." Or they would think, maybe my beer has corn syrup. That's not healthy for me, right? Sugary and carbohydrates in my blood sugar and my blood pressure. So it disrupted, it made me potentially unhappy with my current choice of brand of beer. And they got sued for it by Coors and, other beer companies sued them. They won eventually, but it disrupted a gigantic category that, you would think it's pretty hard to unseat a leader in that category. Right. And there are obviously a lot of ways any agency or any consultant, any coach can acquire new clients, right? You can brag, you can make offers that you think are irresistible, right?
Right.
Or you can work at a different level of the subconscious mind, and that is the entire ball game in marketing.
Right. So let's say, if you know how AI is evolving and how the world is moving forward, let's hypothetically say an SEO agency has to reposition itself in this AI with how do you, can you take us through one example, hypothetical example, how should they be doing it? Because you are a brand positioning expert, so how should they go about doing it?
So if you look at AI as a
Right.
source of answers, you're probably eventually going to fail.
Right.
AI makes mistakes, a lot of them.
Right.
Large learning models are still in the learning stage, right? And you can get some pretty spectacular answers. But if you read them 100 answers from ChatGPT, you can start to see patterns, right? In the ever changing world of, that's how it starts. They open up with that, right? And in conclusion, at the end, and if you use that as content, if you're looking at AI as a source of content, anything other than rough input for you, you're probably making a mistake at this point in time. But you can use AI as an agency or even as a client for positioning development. Let me explain that.
Okay.
If you talk to 100 people in the marketing world, 1,000 people in the marketing world, and you say, what is positioning? You can get 100 different answers.
Right.
And that's part of the problem in marketing, is that our language, our use of definitions is very fragmented. I say positioning is this, you say positioning is that, some book said positioning is something else, right? And brand strategy, if you will, or marketing strategy is actually all dependent on positioning.
Right.
So let me set a definition. Positioning is a science of influencing your targets to feel positively in favor of your brand or your agency or your service.
Right.
That's positioning, is trying to occupy a space in their mind that when they think of your category, they think of you. Brand awareness is positioning. If I said, quick, name a German luxury car, and everybody in the world said Mercedes-Benz,
Right.
Mercedes-Benz would be the number one, maybe the only German luxury car sold. But we also have Porsche. We also have Audi. We also have BMW. And so they're all fighting to get that little real estate in your mind that when the question of the best German luxury sports car comes up, you pick their brand. That's positioning. And there's 100 ways to get there. Only a few really make it. Only a few really matter. But here's the real secret, because we talked before about the fact that your targets are typically going to be bound to someone else.
Right.
Positioning is not enough to win the game.
Okay.
There's a flip side called depositioning. And depositioning works with positioning simultaneously. I need to deploy positioning science to get my targets to believe positively in my favor.
Right.
But I also need to compel my targets, when they think of our category, to think that others, my competitors, cannot, will not, do not provide to the target what I can. which is a solution to a problem, resolving a pain point, fulfilling a need or desire,
Okay.
or protecting you from something you don't want. Why do people buy mouthwash? I mean, they don't want bad breath because it's embarrassing.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that we don't want. We buy products all the time and services because of things we don't want to happen. Right?
Right.
So positioning is the science of influencing your targets to think in favor of you. Depositioning is the science of influencing your targets to not believe that your competitors are viable options. When you put the two together, that's why you win.
Okay. So,
Go on.
let's go.
I was going to add one more thing,
Right.
if I might.
Please.
The question becomes, let's say we agree that my definitions of positioning and depositioning are accurate and correct. And I'm telling you they are. I've been doing this 40 years.
Right.
The next question is very obvious. Well, how do I do it? How do I create a positioning message? How do I create a depositioning message? Can I create a message that does both at the same time? And go back to the Bud Light commercial, right?
Okay.
Brewed without corn syrup. There's a positioning component to that, but there's a depositioning component to it at the same time. That is one of the best examples I can use to demonstrate the power that even a few words can accomplish positive positioning and depositioning of your competitors without going negative. I don't have to call out my competitors by name. I don't have to be negative and nasty and discouraging and disparaging and insulting. All I have to do is look at the category, right? Because there's so many competitors in every category.
Okay.
I want competitive advantage to dominate my category. Instead of pointing the finger at any one competitor, I want to say that the way the entire category today is doing things is not going to solve your problem.
Right.
Now, go back to the very beginning when we talked about what agencies do to help their clients become leaders in their categories is they
Right.
break the rules, they set the rules. They're actually creating a new category by creating new rules. And we call that a category class. Here's one example. Elon Musk. Everybody knows Elon Musk. Everybody associates Elon Musk to some degree with Tesla. Elon Musk didn't invent the automobile.
Right.
And people who are looking for an automobile have dozens of choices. Which one am I going to buy? What Elon did was very clever. He positioned his automobile company not as the company originally that made a sports car and a convertible and a family car he positioned his car as emission free.
Right.
Well, he couldn't invent the category of automobile because it already existed. But he basically stuck his sword in the ground and claimed the territory of emission-free vehicles. So people who were environmentally conscious, potentially, who are concerned about climate change, for example, might say, you know what, that's a great idea. No emissions. I'm going to look at a Tesla. And that is a positioning because it's a benefit, right? Positively thinking in favor of Tesla because they're emission free. Wow, that's great. but it's
Right.
also simultaneously depositioning cars that run on gas
Right.
and fossil fuels, right? So if you can find a way to create a new category, a category class, elevate the category away from what it is today, then you have both a positioning and a depositioning component built in. And you win. That's what makes you as an agency win. That's what makes you as a consultant win. That's what makes you as a client in your category win. I don't care if it's a local service or an e-commerce product or an enterprise level. It doesn't matter. They all work exactly the same way. Why? Why? Because of the way our minds are wired. Every decision, I'll say it again, every single decision, all of our lives, from the moment we wake up in the morning till we go to bed at night, every day, 7 days a week, 24/7, 365 days a year, is all controlled by our subconscious decision making capabilities, which are called heuristics. Heuristics are filters, if you will, that our brains have evolved to protect us. So you're walking down the street and somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, would you like to buy it?" Nope. That's a heuristic. You didn't stop to say, "Oh, what are they selling? Is it really good? Do I need this?" People shy away from being approached, unexpectedly, right?
Right.
You're walking down the street, you come into the corner, and there's 30 people there, and they're all looking up at a building. What do?
I look at the building as well.
You look up
Right.
because our subconscious mind said they're all looking up. What's up there? Could it be dangerous to me? So I have to look. We didn't stop to say, well, you know what? That crowd of people, they're not really professionals like I am, so maybe I shouldn't follow their. No, it happens instantaneously. And all of the answers to all of our decisions, from what pair of socks am I going to put on in the morning, to what am I going to eat for lunch, to
Right.
what university am I going to send my daughter to what agency am I going to hire, to what product am I going to sell, to what channel am I going to sell it through. Every single decision we make in the entire world of marketing and advertising is subconsciously controlled. Period. No exceptions. It's not about how much money you spend to promote your product or your service or your agency to acquire new clients. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with your offer. I'm the best. Sure you are. Everybody's the best. Why should I believe you?
Right.
And so if we start to understand the human psychology of consumer psychology of buying and behavior, and we're an advertiser or an agency that's working on behalf of a client, and we can embed these triggers into our messages and our content, we can achieve the results we want, the reactions we want, to enable us as either an agency or a product or a service to control the way our targets react and respond to our messages and make their buying decisions. We can control that completely by using heuristics in the crafting of our messages. Period. That's the ball game right there.
Okay. Now, let's talk about how controlling consumers and client buying decisions. So, of course, let's talk about tactics that can influence consumers and client buying decisions. Of course, you said one is positioning and depositioning. But what other strategies can agency employ to guide consumer choices effectively?
We look at agencies as having really a couple of objectives. One objective is for them to acquire more clients, right?
Okay.
So they're doing their own marketing. And the other is they make their livelihood by helping their clients become more successful, right? Sell more product, more brand recognition, be the one that's chosen more and more, make more revenue, right? Keep clients for a longer time, get ranked higher on Google, get into the generative AI searches. So we ask ourselves, what are our opportunities to influence the way somebody makes a decision? And there are actually about a half a dozen what I call top level issues that go into how people make their decisions and how you can control that. One is to understand that making a decision, whether it's a client who is looking for a particular type of consumer, right?
Right.
I have a product that's good for, let's say, newborn mothers of newborn babies, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I make diapers or washcloths or whatever it is. My target is women who've recently had a child. I want to control the way they make their decisions when I say, here's my product. Isn't this great for you? And so we work from their point of view, not ours. You are the mother, and you're faced with 5, 6, 7 different options. How do you make your decision? Well, sometimes it's price based, but that's never really a winning positioning, right?
Right.
If you compete based on price, it's a downward spiral. We call it the death spiral, because your competitor can just drop their price to buy the market share, and then you have to drop your price again, and it's a never-ending cycle until you're out of business. The price is a terrible position to take. Unless you're Costco or Walmart and your positioning intentionally is we're the cheapest one in town.
Right.
Other than that, price is a terrible way to market yourself. Or to try to get a consumer to say, yep, I'm buying that one because it's cheap. So we look at what is the process by which consumers make their decisions.
Okay.
Heuristics plays a big role because if I show you an ad,
Right.
and in the ad, let's say I'm selling t-shirts or I'm doing advertising for a client of mine who makes t-shirts. What do we usually say about t-shirts, right? They're soft, help you stay cool. They fit great. They're slim and trim, and they keep their colors in the wash. And I could come up with 1,000 things that are typical for t-shirts, claims and benefits that, my t-shirts does this. But at the end of the day, consumers don't buy your t-shirt because of something you say it does. They buy your t-shirt because they've decided that the other t-shirts aren't what they want. The buying decision is actually a process of elimination, not a process of making a choice.
Right.
It's a beauty contest. And with each round of evaluation, more and more contestants become eliminated until there's one left standing, and that's the one I buy. I dropped my laptop on the sidewalk 2 weeks ago and destroyed it. It got broken into 100 pieces. I travel to see clients a lot. I need a new laptop.
Right.
Okay. Which one am I going to buy? Well, I've had that laptop for several years, And now I need a new one. The technology has changed dramatically. Which laptop am I going to buy now?
Right.
Well, I don't want this one because it doesn't have a numeric keypad, and I need the numbers on the right side of my keyboard. I'm not going to buy this one because the screen is too small, and I
Mm.
need a bigger screen for spreadsheets or whatever. I'm
Right.
not going to buy that one because it doesn't have a dedicated graphics card, and I do a lot of Photoshop work and video editing, so I need a graphics. I'm not going to buy this one because it's too heavy to carry around with me when I travel all over the world. It's
Right.
10 pounds of laptop. I don't need that. So we wind up eliminating. I don't want that one for this reason. I don't want that one. I don't want this one. I don't want that one. Until there's only one or two left. And that's our choice. That's what we're going to buy. So if you're selling something, you want to use heuristics to trigger reactions by your target audience to eliminate your competitors, not to choose you. Because at the end of the day, Navneet, if I can prevent you from saying no to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I can get you to say no to all the others, at the end of that process, there's only one option left. You say yes to me.
Right.
So just to kind of wrap this up a little bit in a nice ribbon, what we've just talked about is making a buying decision is not primarily a process of choosing as much as it is a process of eliminating other options.
Right.
And that happens subconsciously. It's instantaneous decision, right? I can go online right now and I can look at 50 different laptops. And any given laptop model is 800 different configurations, right? I get this one with 1 terabyte of SSD, this one with 2 terabytes of SSD, different screens, different memory, different, right? All sorts of capabilities. I don't have to physically go to a store and look at them and see them. I can go online, I can say, what's the specs? Oh, well, that's not fast enough. I need a faster processor.
Right.
That screen is too small. I can do this now online, and that's where I want to answer your earlier question. That's where AI comes in.
Right.
Because consumers can use AI to help them find options and eliminate options. But agencies can use AI to do the same thing. Let's talk about an SEO agency for a moment.
Okay.
Traditionally, the objective of SEO is what? To rank higher on Google.
All right. Yes.
I tell my clients SEO is not about ranking. SEO is about getting the click. I don't care if my client is in position 8, if that's the one that's getting all the clicks. Now, it used to be that the higher up you are in the SERP, the higher percentage of clicks you would get for a particular search query.
All right.
But those days have changed. Why? Because Google has now moved the first step towards what we call a zero-click world. You ask a question in Google and you get an answer right there. The
Right.
generative AI tells you the answer. Well, why do I need to click on a website? I don't. So the objective of SEO today is not necessarily about ranking organically. It's much more about having Google select your content to show in their featured snippets. in their knowledge panels, in their people also ask, in their generative AI and direct answer boxes, because that's taking up the majority of the search return page now. And fewer people are going to scroll down and scroll down and scroll down and click on this link and click on that link. So you're losing right now about 60% of all searches result in no click.
Right.
And it's going to get worse. Google wants to go to 100% zero click. And so what happens is the way one approaches SEO today as an agency is not to tell clients you're going to get them ranked better, because that matters so much less today than it did 2 years ago.
Right.
If I were starting an SEO agency, or if I was advising an SEO agency, consulting to one, I would help them craft a positioning message and a depositioning message that says exactly what I just said. SEO is no longer about getting ranked on Google. It's about getting selected by Google. Because if Google shows your content in a featured snippet, it's kind of like having Google's seal of approval, right? Google's recommending me because they chose me, my answer, my content to put in the featured snippet.
Right.
So the world of SEO has changed. So if I want to, I can deposition immediately every single SEO consultant and agency out there that's talking to clients or hoping to win more clients by saying, I'll get you ranked higher. Because that's outdated already.
Right.
So when we talk about AI is just an evolution in a tool. AI makes us capable of finding some answers or directions faster. Let's stay with SEO for a moment, right? SEO is still about keywords, because if we want Google to select us for a featured snippet, to show us in the featured snippet for what? For a specific search query.
Right.
Google has to be able to match that the user entered this particular search query, keywords,
Right.
with the content on my web page to say that is the answer that this guy is looking for. So
Right.
I'm going to show it. So you still need to do your keyword optimization correctly so that Google knows you have the web page and the content they should be showing the searcher, right? That's where AI comes in. Because I can go to AI, I can type in, based on the following core keyword, give me 20 different modifiers. So instead of just best laptop for creative people, best laptop for video editing, best laptop for students, best laptop for engineers, best laptop for photographers, et cetera, et cetera. And the longer tail, the more defined I can get in my keywords, the more likely Google is going to see my content as more helpful, more informative, more valuable, and the higher likelihood of them showing my content to a searcher. Now, I teach positioning, and I consider myself one of the world's experts in positioning science and depositioning and heuristics and cognitive biases. And so I've crafted stuff on my content in my articles that I write and publish, Medium, Substack, all over the place, so that for 100 different search queries that really matter to me, I already have the featured snippet, and I appear in the generative AI that Google has selected. because I wrote it with heuristics in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm helping with my content to train Google's AI, their large learning model. Because where are they getting the information from? They're stealing, if you will, borrowing, using what experts out there in the world are publishing, the content that they're using. And so if you publish better content, you're actually helping them improve their LLM, and they're more likely to choose you because by using your content inside their large learning model repository, it's right there for them to serve.
Right.
So there's a lot of very important strategic ways to win as an agency, as a consultant, to make consumer decisions, as an SEO, as a PPC expert. So many ways to win, but they're not the way you think it is.
All right. Now, in today's digital landscape, the first interaction with a potential client or customer is, of course, crucial. So let's discuss the importance of converting prospects into something as a client. So why is first touch so crucial in current digital environment?
I love that question. And I'm really, really glad you asked it, because it's something that I don't think a lot of agencies or even clients that are, brands or e-commerce or service providers really understand. So I'm going to use an example.
Okay.
Let's suppose, and this is a true statement, I have a fascination with shoes. I like shoes. You can say I have a shoe fetish, right? I see a beautiful pair of shoes. It's really interesting. I'm probably going to buy it. So I'm on my Facebook feed and I'm scrolling down. I'm not looking for shoes. I wasn't even thinking about buying shoes. I'm scrolling through my feed, seeing what my friends are posting, seeing what's going on, all of that. And I see an ad. And it's an ad for a pair of shoes. And I stop for a minute because I like shoes. So I'm going to stop for half a second, and catches my eye. Oh, a pair of shoes, huh? And I'll look at it. I'm going to say, wow, those are really interesting. They're beautiful. What am I likely to do? Click on the ad.
Right.
Great. So they won. They got me to click. That's already an early win, right? In the stage.
Right.
What happens when I click? I go to their website. And I go to their website and I take a look around. And for some reason, I decide I'm not buying from them. Wow, the prices are outrageous. Or they don't have my size. Or I just don't like their style. Maybe the ad wasn't exactly what am I going to do? I'm going to leave their website, right? I'm going to bounce without making a purchase. So my first touch on their website did not result in a purchase. What did it result in? It resulted in raising my current awareness and interest in shoes. It also resulted, by clicking on the ad, in my telling Facebook that I am in market for shoes. So I look at their website, I decide it's not what I want, I go back to Facebook. What happens?
You start seeing shoes ads.
My feed is absolutely bombarded with shoes, socks, running shoes. It gets crazy, right? Because I've told Facebook I'm in market. Facebook is in the business of getting paid for showing ads. So they say, oh, Marty's into shoes. Let's show him 50 other shoe ads.
Right.
And guess what? One of those may actually get my business.
Okay. Yeah.
So the first touch, the first one I clicked on when I got to their website, they didn't capture me. So they lost me. But worse is they actually sent me to their competitors. So because, particularly in e-commerce, your money is made on your LTV, your lifetime value of customers. If I sell, let's say, a bottle of vitamins or a bottle of shampoo, or whatever it is that I sell, when you run out of shampoo, you're going to buy another one, right? And when you run out of that one, you're going to buy another one. So let's say a bottle of my shampoo lasts you for 2 months.
Right.
And let's say that on a sale of a bottle of my shampoo, I make $10.
Right.
What does it cost me to acquire a new buyer of my shampoo? More than $10, likely. So my money isn't made on the first purchase. My money is made if that customer, that consumer comes back and makes a second, third, fourth purchase. Because now I don't have to pay to acquire them again, right? So I make a much larger margin on a second, third, fourth sale.
Right.
Next piece of the puzzle is if I'm spending $30, $40, $50 to acquire a customer traditionally through advertising, and
Right.
it's expensive for me to offer something, let's say for free. Let's say the cost of goods of my shampoo is $8.
Right.
And I'm willing to give you a free bottle of shampoo. It's kind of irresistible, right?
Right.
If you're looking at shampoos, it's kind of irresistible. Here's a free bottle of shampoo. Why wouldn't I take it? So I take the free offer. Now what happens? I've just gotten some shampoo. It's on the way. It's going to be delivered in 5, 6, 7 days. What am I not doing? I'm not buying a competitor's shampoo because I just got one. And during that period of time when my shampoo is being delivered, that company has an opportunity to engage with me, build a relationship with me, offer me something as an upsell, a cross-sell, right? A stimulation. Here's 5,000 points to start your loyalty membership. They can do 100 things if they get me to take an engagement action on my first touch.
Right.
But if they don't hit me on the first touch, it's over. I'm not going back. So what I try to do with my clients in e-commerce is I try to find a way that they can offer something of incredibly high perceived value at zero or no or very little cost to the target.
Okay.
Because if I can put my claws into them somehow, and I don't blow it, I can nurture them and bring them deeper and deeper and deeper instead of having to rely on discount offers all the time. Subscribe now and save 20%. I don't even know if I like the product. Why would I subscribe to it?
Right.
Sign up for my newsletter and get 10% off. Okay, so I save a few bucks on a purchase, but you're going to spam me to death with your newsletter? All of these things that are traditional tactics being used on websites and offers, they're not effective. They cost you money. Somebody subscribes. Here's a great statistic. 60 to 75% of every subscriber in every subscription program out there leaves the subscription program within 6 months. So what have you done? You've given money away for 6 months. Now,
Right.
if you've made a lifetime value in that 6 months, that's enough for you, great. But if you haven't, all you've done is throw money away. So there are factors that go into whether you should offer a subscription and how much discount you should offer on a bundle. A lot of strategies. that serve one purpose only, Navneet, one purpose. You need to capture the target on their first touch, because if bouncers never come back. So you've got to get them on the first touch, and you've got to engage them with you, and then you have to give them a reason to make a second purchase.
Okay.
Right? And very often that's a discount offer. Not really a big fan of discount offers because it says I'm a little desperate, right? I'm appealing to your cheapness, your frugalness, your desire to save some money, not spend some money, right? I don't like discount offers. I'd rather give you something of value that had a low cost to me that I could afford to give away a lot of and get you engaged and then keep you engaged. So when you put all of these things together, you get a recipe for winning. The psychology of why people buy or why clients decide to hire you. The use of heuristics to get people to trigger instant behavior reactions.
Right.
Positioning and depositioning. Understanding that selling is not a process of being chosen as much as it is a process of not being eliminated. And when you put all these things together, you have a recipe for winning.
Right. Okay. That's a very, I would say, interesting take, but that's a very deep take. So obviously you have to absorb it and understand the layout. I completely agree. And with the AI coming in, I think the positioning is becoming far more important to do. And of course, the first touch is very, very important now. With
More
people
than ever.
people having just a short time frame attention span of a of a jellyfish, right? Okay. All right, Marty. Before we let you go, we are going to do a quick rapid round. The rules are simple. I'll ask a series of quick questions and you respond with the first thing that comes in your mind. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll bite.
Okay. Biggest branding buzzword you are tired of?
10x or any X.
Okay. One campaign you wish you had created?
Fidget spinners.
Okay. Okay. Favorite tool or platform for branding work?
Favorite tool?
Or platform for branding work?
Me.
Okay. One thing agencies should stop doing right now.
Stop saying the same thing every other agency is saying. Create something unique. Create, the classic concept of blue ocean, right?
Right.
Create a category class.
Okay.
Make yourself a different set of rules that the rest of the industry has to play by.
Right. If you weren't in branding, what would you be doing?
I would be traveling the world, sampling different foods and cultures.
Okay. Biggest influencer on your career?
David Ogilvy.
Okay. The one skill every marketers must master?
Heuristics.
A brand you think is nailing positioning today?
Apple.
What do you love most about what you do?
The challenge of helping someone win.
Okay. One piece of advice you would have given your younger self?
Run, Forrest, run. One piece of advice I would have given my younger self was buy Bitcoin when it first came out.
That's absolutely right. Okay. Great answers, Marty. That was fun and insightful. And thank you for playing along. So as we wrap up, Marty, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the Agency Insider Show. Before we sign off, where can our listeners learn more about you and your work?
The easiest thing to do is to find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Marty Marion, Marty Marion, right?
Okay.
And find me on LinkedIn and connect with me. Um, I am always happy to talk to people, give them some guidance and advice for free. I love doing it. You can email me, and I'm very responsive. And it's
Okay.
Marty, again, Marty, at masterpositioning.com.
All right. And any final piece of advice for agencies looking to stay ahead in the ever evolving marketing landscape?
Don't get frustrated.
Okay.
Don't feel weighed down by the way you've always been doing it.
Okay.
It's okay to take a risk as long as you understand what you're doing.
Okay. Okay.
No pain, no gain.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Martin. As I said, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the Agency Insider Show. I've done a lot of podcasts with a lot of industry leaders, specifically to the digital, but this was related. I think the listeners will get lots of value, not just because they are learning digital marketing, but they are learning more about the positioning and how they can position their agency better.
It's all one ecosystem: marketing, advertising, psychology, uh, positioning, depositioning, heuristics. It's all one ecosystem.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for tuning into the Agency Insider Show. Remember to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, this is Navneet Kaushal signing off. Thank you. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.